Now you know I'm coming through. When the growth look good on you, best believe they wanna screw now. I've been trying to climb, devil threw me in the dark. Baby, don't be insecure, you can still go make a mark like blow. Could never let them drain my soul now. Blow. Table turning like doorknobs, wow. Blow. I think I'm about to set sail. I'm a walking, living legend, walking with my chest out. Life keeps dealing me cards, I keep fitting in love.
What up, people? What is going on? It's G, and we are back in the building. Guys, you already know the vibe. You already know what time it is. Again, as I keep saying, we are very, very close to that 1,000 subscribers. So please, 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 if you guys can help a brother out, if you've got any burner accounts, anything like that, please make sure you are hitting that subscribe button for me. And make sure, more importantly, in fact, just as important, equally as important, should I say, make sure you're hitting that like button. So today, what are we here for? Today, we're back with another match preview. And as you guys can obviously see on the damn screens, it is Liverpool versus Chelsea up at Anfield this evening. Should be a big game. Should be a very, very big game. We already know with Liverpool, so many things have been going on. We're not here to obviously talk about, you know, Jurgen Klopp and, you know, the fact that he's mentioned that he's going to be leaving at the end of the season. We've still got games to play. Liverpool obviously still fighting on all fronts. So many different things. Liverpool need this, we need that. We don't know. Van Dijk, 1 minute he's saying, you know, he wants to stay. You know, let me not say he's not saying he wants to stay. People have taken out of context what he has said in an interview that he done recently, and they're making it out like he doesn't want to stay at the football club, or that he's very unsure, and you know, all of these kind of funny little anecdotes. It's all crazy. It's all crazy, to be honest with you. I think one of the main things, before we get into, you know, the actual game in itself, I think one of the main things, or one of the takeaways that I've kind of taken with me, is that, you know, a lot of people have been not angry, would I say, but just a bit like, oh, you know, why are journalists, you know, making out, you know, Jurgen Klopp is saying one thing and, you know, and potentially making this a bigger deal than it actually is. For one, I'd probably say, and again, by the way, everyone's has a right to feel how they want to feel. Do you know what I mean? It's big news. But I think one of the things I always, or how I look at it, is ultimately Jurgen Klopp knew, or should have known if he didn't, but he's a smart man and he's been in the game for a long time. I think he would have known the kind of fanfare this would have had. I think he mentioned about, you know, he made up his mind, you know, back in November. You know, he really didn't want this story to get leaked out, and then, you know, the press, and then it becomes an even bigger deal than it actually, you know, already is, especially because of the nature of the decision that he's obviously made, and the fact that it's coming, you know, quite abruptly, you know, of course, to fans. But this is something that he's obviously already thought about for a very, very long time. So he wanted to obviously get ahead of it, you know, kind of thing, you know, control the narrative, as they say with these kind of things. And he knew that this was going to happen. He knew. Do you get what I mean? I don't think there's any point getting angry about it. I'd expect journalists to be asking certain questions. You know, to be honest, that's your job. If you was a journalist, if you was in their shoes, you'd be doing the same thing. You know, one of the biggest stories of this season, probably, trying to think of maybe something bigger. I can't really think off the top of my head. Again, let me know if there is anything bigger than this, but this would be the biggest story of the Premier League season. Jurgen Klopp announcing that he's leaving. Not even that he's sacked or, you know, anything, or, you know, something's happened, so he's got to leave. No, he just said he's going to bounce, you know, come the end of the season. So, yeah, I think with everything that's kind of going on, I think all of this is quite expected. So again, I wouldn't, you know, people shouldn't be getting so irate and so annoyed and stuff like that. Ultimately, it's going to happen. Like I said, expect the worst, and then, you know, take it from there, kind of thing. But ultimately, this is the position that he's kind of left himself and the team and the fans, you know, in. Is this kind of limbo as to, you know, what's going on? You know, we've got other things that we need to, you know, kind of sort out within the team. We've got other areas of the team that we need to sort out, or of the club, should I say, that Liverpool need to sort out. So, of course, it's going to be a little bit of a madness, so to speak. So I think he's just got to kind of look at it and just think, okay, cool. Obviously, this is just the beginning, and this is Liverpool's second game that we've got this evening up against Chelsea. You know, this is the second game that we've got. So just kind of look at it and think to yourself, okay, hopefully things will start to die down. Of course, people, I'm not saying people will get used to the idea, or ultimately, you know, the way that some people feel about Jurgen Klopp, you know, it's going to hit people in different ways. But hopefully he's probably thinking that somewhere along the line, people start getting used to the idea. Maybe it will help if Liverpool announce the new manager, potentially. I don't know. You know, that might disrupt the team that potentially that person, you know, may be coming from if they are in a team. And it might just unsettle just a few things, you know, in terms of everybody starts looking at, okay, what type of player does this guy want? Oh, maybe this guy doesn't fit. And that might just unsettle the team. And at this current moment in time, the way that Liverpool are going, you know, going for four trophies, the League Cup, the FA Cup, the Premier League, the Europa League, doing really well this season in terms of getting the wins, you know, so to speak. So yeah, I think for now, everybody just chill. It is what it is. He said he's leaving. We're going to have to get over it at some point in time. You know what I mean? We've still got games of football to play. And that's more important than him leaving. You know, far more important is getting through these games. And obviously, as fans, making sure that we make each and every game, especially at Anfield, but make each and every game as if it's his last game. You know, making sure that we turn up, you know, in the trenches, you know, turn up on away days and things like that, making sure we sing as loud as humanly possible, you know, to make Jurgen feel the way that he should realistically be feeling, which is, you know, the love from the Liverpool fans and, you know, all of this kind of stuff. So, yeah, man, I think that's all I'll kind of note, you know, in regards to that. But as I mentioned before, of course, we are here for Liverpool versus Chelsea. Tricky game. Tricky game. And it was even a tricky game to kind of predict in terms of like score lines and, you know, all these kind of various different things. Let's take a look at the head-to-head between Liverpool and Chelsea. 7 draws. Our last 7 games have ended in a draw with Chelsea. 1-1, 0-0, 0-0, 0-0, 0-0, 2-2, 1-1. Like, are you deep in? We've had 1, 2, 4 0-0s in that time. We've had more 0-0s than any other scoreline in the last 7 games. Mad. Absolutely mad. Like, and it's one of those things where it doesn't seem to even matter what form Chelsea are in. It doesn't matter, you know, what form Liverpool are in. It's more often than not, it's going to end in a draw. More often than not. I remember, you know, coming there, facing Chelsea last season, you know, when we were kind of on our little resurgence, you know, come the end of the season or near towards the end of the season, Chelsea were going through whatever the hell that they are going through, you know, at this current moment in time. And it just seems like it was a foregone conclusion. Draw. Do you know what I mean? It was just another boring 0-0 draw. And that's just how Chelsea and Liverpool games are, if I'm being totally honest. Now, of course, the dynamic might change or might have changed, you know, so to speak, in terms of where Liverpool are at and, you know, where Chelsea were at, you know, for a long time, especially in those kind of, would you say, mid to late 2000s, that kind of era there, you know, Chelsea were far superior than Liverpool. And we had our one-off games, Champions League nights and stuff like that. But in a general, you know, in as a whole, should I say, yeah, Chelsea were way better. You know, that they used to dump on us on a consistent basis. It was actually annoying. It felt like Manchester United all over again. You know, it just felt like that period. It was like, bloody hell, we got not rid of, but that's one team, Manchester United, you know, they're over there. They got the heritage and all of that. But then Chelsea come along with all their millions and Jose Mourinho, fantastic team, this, that, and the third. And then all of a sudden, like, it's just the same old again. It's another team we just can't beat. Do you know what I mean? It's another team that we just struggle against. Another team who are just better than us in every single department, you know. So, yeah, it's one of those kind of things. But I think in the last like 5 seasons, of course, the narrative has obviously changed. Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool has been better than, I mean, which manager do you want to go through? Antonio Conte, Tuchel, Pochettino now, you know, it doesn't really matter. You know, Liverpool have been far better than Chelsea in these last 5 years, but it's always still going to be a tough game regardless. I don't care what anybody says, it's always going to be difficult. If we look at Chelsea's last 5 games, well, 1, 2, 3, 5 games. Obviously drew against Villa in the Cup, beat Middlesbrough 6-1 to get through to the League Cup final, which again, we're going to renew old acquaintances there. Liverpool versus Chelsea in that Carabao Cup final. They beat Fulham in the Premier League recently. Obviously lost to Middlesbrough before that, and then of course beat Preston. Liverpool's last 5, really, really good. Only that 1-1 draw with Fulham in the Carabao Cup second leg. Other than that, it's just been wins: 5-2 against Norwich, 4-0 against Bournemouth, 2-1 against Fulham prior to that, and then obviously the FA Cup 2-0 victory at the Emirates. Liverpool, of course, missing. I can't remember exactly. I haven't really read too much in regards to the injuries and stuff like that. I know obviously Mo Salah, he's not going to be fit and raring for this game. I think maybe Trent, Zobbo, Robbo, all of these guys playing some part on the weekend. So potentially we'll be back for this game. Well, not potentially, they'll be fit for this game, barring anything that obviously comes up in the next couple of hours or anything like that. They should be good to go. So it'll be interesting, very, very interesting to see what kind of team Jurgen Klopp will, of course, put out, whether he's going to put out the strongest possible lineup. Is everybody fit? Is everybody ready? I know McAllister didn't play, on the weekend, but again, I think that was just more to just keep him, ready and fit to kind of go for this game against Chelsea. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It is really, really going to be interesting. But what I'll do is I will go through my predicted lineup, and then obviously I'll give you guys my predicted score line, and then we can kind of go through from there. So let's get this up. Okay. Let's get this up for you guys. Boom, boom, boom. Lineup. Okay. Boom. So for you guys can obviously see that. Let me just enlarge on that for you guys. Oi, oi, oi. Okay, boom. So I've already put 2 players in there. Let's not mess around. Ali and Van Dijk, they're barring something crazy like an injury or something like that. These guys are going to play. I think it's more the other positions. We'll start off at left back. Obviously, Robbo's back. I think he came on at the weekend. I didn't watch the game actually at the weekend, to be honest with you. I won't lie to you guys. I was a little bit preoccupied, but I believe he did come on in that game. I heard a lot of people talking about, whether or not they believe Robbo should play. And to be honest, I hear why. In terms of course, he is our left back. He is our primary left back. His kind of injury then started a chain of events, because then he gets injured, Tsimikas gets injured, then Gomez steps in. Once Gomez kind of steps in, he then starts going on this, really, really good steady run. And I think looking at this kind of game, I can't see why you would then go for Robbo. I feel like it'd be extremely harsh to kind of drop, we've got Arsenal on Sunday. So I can understand from that point of view if Gomez plays one of those games and Robbo plays this game, or vice versa. However Klopp feels he wants to kind of do it, I would understand. I don't think I would be like, oh my goodness, I wouldn't see that as too much of a negative. But in this kind of game, I think I would just still go with Joe Gomez, unless he's picked up an injury or he's feeling a little bit tight anywhere or tired, or because he's played a lot of games recently. I would just go with Joe Gomez just for the start of the game. If you then want to take him off second half, to then preserve him for the game, or to potentially do a Robbo, you start the next game, Gomez, you're going to come on kind of vibe, then, by all means, I'm totally good with that. Maybe he might want to start Robbo in this game because, Gomez might do a better job against Saka at the weekend. Listen, I can see both sides. I can really, really see both sides. So I'm not gonna sit here and question whether Robbo or Gomez actually plays. But I would personally just choose Gomez just because he's been in really, really good form as of recently. Yeah, he's just been so steady. Honestly, he's just been really, really steady in that kind of left back spot. I don't think he's been amazing or anything like that. I wouldn't go that far. I don't think I've seen anything that's, oh my goodness, he's been amazing. But what I really like, and I love this about, some players, of course, we know what happened, of course, with Joe Gomez last season. It was absolutely shit. And then this season, it was those kind of question marks. And he has kind of been used as a utility man, that kind of Milner role, where you're playing everywhere. You're just going to fill into different kind of positions and, help out the team in certain kind of areas and stuff like that. And obviously, of course, played right back, centre back, left back. left back being the position that he's kind of cemented, so to speak, because of his good performances. Started off really shaky there, didn't really feel him in that position, but he's really grown into that role and he's really understood the assignment. So yeah, let's keep him in there. Let's keep him in there. Next to Virgil, I think unless there's an injury problem, which is always likely with someone like him, I'd put Konate. Again, been really, really good as of recent. Been putting in really, really good and top performances. So yeah, I can't see why, you know, it would be a problem to put someone like Konate in there. Now, this right back slots, I know a lot of people have been talking about Connor Bradley as of recent. Again, he's kind of come in, performed really, really well in the games that he has played as of recent. Has he performed well enough to be starting in big games like this? No, I don't think so. Unless there was an injury, that would be the only reason why, or Trent just couldn't play for whatever reason. That would probably be the only reason why I'd think, yeah, okay, let's play Connor Bradley. And to be honest, I still wouldn't even play Connor Bradley. I would actually prefer to go Robbo left back, Gomez at right back. I think that'd be a better option. Connor Bradley, as I said, he has played pretty decently, you know, over these last few games. Got himself a couple of assists at the weekend as well. You know, can't do, you know, that's doing no harm, you know, to his kind of development this season. But I just think if Trent's back, it's kind of a no-brainer. You know, Connor Bradley's still young, still learning the game, still got a couple deficiencies that, you know, that will hinder him, so to speak, in terms of getting into that starting 11. And I just don't think he's really ready for a starting 11 slot in this kind of team if we're really trying to challenge and, you know, go places. But his time will come. You know, hopefully his time will come, and, you know, we'll just have to keep, you know, feeding him in these kind of games, you know, if I'm being totally honest. So yeah, I'll go with Trent for this evening. DM position. To be honest, there's actually nobody else to actually play that position other than McAllister. Left central midfield, I will go with Curtis Jones. I think he's becoming a real integral part to this team. He's really proven those doubters, myself included. He is proving us wrong in terms of he's finally found a role, you know, in the team. Not the role that we wanted him to, you know, of course, that we wanted him to have all those years ago, but he's found himself in a role. In the last few games, he has been really, really good. He has been quite important as well, you know, to the team. So yeah, I would keep him in there. Right central midfield. I know he came on at the weekend, but I would still go with Harvey Elliott. And that's who I'd go with. I'd put Zobo on the bench. I know he's had some rest. Well, I say rest, but he's been recovering, of course, from his injury. I would rather bring him on though. And of course, we've got that game on Sunday as well. So I am thinking a little bit about that, you know, in regards to that. So yeah, I would go Harvey Elliott. I think maybe this might be a game where, you know, at home, you know, we need that enthusiasm, we need that energy, of course, in that midfield. And again, to have someone like Szoboszlai on the bench to be able to come on, I can't see that being a bad thing. Do you know what I mean? If things are not really working out with Elliott on that side, no problem. Cool. We just swap it. We literally just swap it. So yeah, I'm good with Elliott. But again, I would understand if people would then want to go with someone like Szoboszlai instead. I've got really no beef with that. All right, the forward positions. I think up front, for me, a no-brainer. I'll go with Diogo Jota. Yeah, I think I prefer him in that striker's role. Left wing, I think I'll go with Diaz. Should I go with Diaz or should I go with Nunes? Diaz or Nunes? Diaz or Nunes? You know, actually, I'll go against my better intuition, which is I'll go with Darwin Nunes on that side, and then I would actually go with maybe like Gakpo potentially on that side. But I mean, the three of them, this isn't really, well, he's not really staple in that position, and neither is he. And to be honest, neither is Darwin Nunes, to be honest with you. I think all three of them, you'll end up just seeing them move around. Maybe as they start out the game, these are the positions that they play. But yeah, I would go with that as a front line. I think, again, having Diaz, Szoboszlai, you know, on the bench, I can't see that being a bad thing. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Again, I've got no problems if people feel, you know, let's start these guys instead. Again, I'm really not going to fight you on that. But this is the kind of team that I would go for. It's kind of obviously it's not the strongest team I think that Liverpool have. Of course, Mo Salah's is obviously injured, so he'd be thrown in there. You never know. Endo as well. That could be a conversation. Szoboszlai, to put in there. Robertson, of course, to put in there. There's a few players that that probably missing, but at the same time, I feel like there should be a good enough team to be able to defeat Chelsea. At the bare minimum, get a draw, against Chelsea. And again, like I mentioned before, you still got these players on the bench. You still got the Diaz's, the Szoboszlai's on the bench to be able to potentially affect play. Robbo to, maybe change things up if things are not really working, we're not really getting a threat down that left-hand side. Again, I don't know who Chelsea are going to play. I know they've got quite a few injuries themselves, so it'll be interesting to see the type of teams. Raheem Sterling, coming back to Anfield. Don't know if he's going to be injured or if he's picked up an injury or anything like that. Cole Palmer, another player I think Liverpool do definitely need to watch. He's a player I feel always Cole Palmer, whether he's coming in off the right or playing in that kind of attacking midfield position, it's going to be important for players. The midfield, really, they're going to really need to make sure they're just picking him up because he seems to ghost into areas all the time and he's always able to get himself a shot off. Do you get what I mean? I know he has scored quite a few penalties this season, but he is a dangerous player in that attacking third. So he's someone, don't sleep on him. Don't sleep on someone like Cole Palmer. But hopefully we'll be able to, keep him quiet in the game. But that's obviously my predicted lineup, or that's my lineup, should I say, that I would like to go with for this evening. Let me know, of course, what you guys think. Where would you make changes? Who would you prefer to see? As I mentioned, I think it could be swapped around in many such ways. Apologies if there are any injuries that I've put on the pitch. Again, I've not checked. I didn't want to check. I just wanted to kind of go, kind of freestyle it today, and then kind of see what's up. My predicted scoreline. Let's take this off. Cool. So my predicted scoreline, I've gone with a 2-1. I've gone with 2-1. I went with 1-1 yesterday. That's what I was thinking. But then I saw Chelsea had quite a few injuries. And well, they've had a few injuries and a couple players who are like still coming back. I don't know if they're going to start. I don't really know what their predicted lineup might potentially be. But I've gone with 2-1 based on everything I've kind of seen in the last like 24 hours. Van Dijk and Diogo Jota, I believe, would probably score. And I feel like the only person who's necessarily going to score for them is going to be someone like Cole Palmer. But you never know. I mean, this might be the day that, Enzo Fernandez decides to score, a rocket from outside the box and stuff like that. So, yeah, but that's kind of my predicted score. And I'm going Liverpool 2-1 victory. Hopefully that will be the catalyst for this weekend. And then Liverpool can, of course, go on, hopefully then defeat Arsenal. And I think defeating Chelsea and defeating Arsenal back-to-back, it stands us in good stead. And of course, we've got to remember, Liverpool need to get that W tonight anyway, because if we don't and we get a draw, Man City, then we'll have 2 games in hand. Win those 2 games in hand, I believe they will go ahead of us in the Premier League table. So, yeah, the table's tight enough as it is. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's tight enough as it is. We really don't want to be giving anybody any, impetus to be able to think that they can come back into this race. We need to make sure that we're just doing our job, doing our thing, and then, of course, we can move from there. But, people, that is my match preview done and dusted. Nice and quick for you guys. Let me know, obviously, your score predictions and your lineups in the comment section. Please let me know what you guys are thinking for tonight's game. Liverpool versus Chelsea up at Anfield. I'm G. That's the match preview done and dusted. And we are out.